All right, what is up, traders? What's up, tycoons? Super excited for today's video. We're going to go over a special scan for all of you bears out there, right? If you're looking to profit off of shorting, right, and you can do that via shorting shares, you can do that via trading option contracts, put options in this case. We're going to go over a simple scan and then actually the strategy you want to use once you have that scan running, right? So that way you know where to enter and how to take profit on the trade. So be sure to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and we're going to jump straight into it and show you guys what I like to call the gap and crap strategy. Okay. Crap is basically standing for the market taking a dump, whatever stock you're looking at taking a dump. So there's something known as the gap and go. This is basically the opposite. This is a stock gapping down and then dumping lower. So we like to call this the gap and crap. The first thing you want to do is you want to chart your pre-market lows. And then number two, you want to wait for the retest of those pre-market lows as support. Or in this case as resistance actually, and then you want to enter at the retest of the pre-market low. And then number four is you're going to set your profit goals based on your own personal preference. Okay. Everybody has different risk to reward, ratios, and everyone has a different risk tolerance and also different profit goals. So it's up to you to, come up with those at the end of the day. All right. As always, the content provided on this channel is for informational and educational purposes only. It's not necessarily intended to be relied upon as legal, financial, or investment advice. So, please be sure to read through the full disclaimer, and we're actually going to get straight into it and head on over to our stock hacker here on ThinkOrSwim. So this is basically what it's going to look like, once you get into it, right? This is blank. ThinkOrSwim actually already has a gap up and a gap down scan in here, and we just need to make a very minor tweak to it, right? So we're going to come over here to public, and then we're going to click on gap down. So this is going to show us stocks that are gapping down. Now when we hit scan here, you can see that there's literally over 1,000 stocks popping up in the scan. What's a simple solution that we can do? Well, if we come up to this tab over here that says scan in, right? So right here where it says scan in all stocks, what we simply want to do is come here to category, and we're going to select all NYSE stocks. NYSE stands for New York Stock Exchange. So these are going to be all of the stocks trading on the New York Stock Exchange. And then we'll rerun this scan here, and you can see, that it is basically much smaller, right? Now it's only showing 150. So this is going to be much more easier to navigate. Now you can filter these by market cap. Okay. Go from highest market cap to lowest. You can filter it by volume, however you prefer. You can also do it by price. Okay, so basically like the last trading price. And let's go ahead and look at the first one here that popped up, SNA, right? So we'll come over to, our chart here, and we'll take a look at SNA. And what we're going to do is, well, we see here, this gray shaded area is actually the pre-market. So, we don't really have a way here of seeing, pre-market highs and lows via this strategy, right? We can see that there's a history that, this doesn't really trade pre-market or after hours. So let's go back to our stock hacker and look at the next one. We have TXN. This is Texas Instruments. Okay, so we'll come over and we'll go back to our chart here. We'll put on TXN. Remember, this gray area is actually going to be the pre-market. And so we're going to come in here, and now we want to identify our pre-market low before market opens. We're just going to come and draw a simple horizontal line here, price level. So that way we know and we can run our strategy. Now, what was the strategy, right? Well, we wait for the break and the retest of that pre-market low, and we want to enter at the retest. So you can see here, right? Price starts trading up above. Okay, it starts going up above, and what we are doing is again waiting for the breakdown and then the retest of it, right? So we see we actually come back down and we retest it right here. Okay, and we also retest it a second time over here as well. So really there was two entries for this one. Now, if you're a beginner, you may be a little confused, at wondering when and where you really should enter, right? Like, was this a good time to enter, right? You see that this line here, which is known as a wick, goes above. Well, generally when running strategies, what you want to do is you want to wait for the candlesticks to close. Now, whenever I'm day trading, I personally really like to look at the 5-minute chart a lot. That's the one that we've got up here pulled up, is going to be the 5-minute. And so what we see here, right, is we see the candlestick opens here, right? It rallies up and forms this wick, but it actually closes right over here. So, this could be an entry, right? If you're a beginner and wondering, was this a good time to enter? Yes, right? Because what it did was it retested that, that prior support, okay, that pre-market low, right? And it turned into resistance, right? Resistance meaning that there's overhead supply, that now there is sellers at this point in the market, right? So there's sellers present here, making it resistance and pushing price lower to where it closed right here. Okay. Now, if you missed that entry, all right, you can see that we actually came back again and retested the area again, right? So very simple concepts, right? Old support, prior support becomes new resistance, right? And we see it become new resistance. And now this is where we take our entry and we can take those profits, right? Enter our short position, whether it's in, put option contracts or just, naked shorting the stock, right? And you can see that there's a nice drop from 165.63 down to 163.97. So you could have made over $1 per share on this short, which isn't a huge significant win. Maybe if you're trading options and depending on your expiration date, it's a larger win. But the concept of this is to be able to find trade setups, right? If you're a beginner and you're struggling to find setups and struggling to find when to take trades, where to look for entries and exits, and you don't know which stocks to pay attention to each day, a simple scanner like this is something that's really going to help you out. Okay, and then you just use that very simple strategy of old support becoming new resistance here and here, and that's all you want to look for, right? If you see we start closing above, right? So if this candlestick would have done something like this, right, it would have actually opened here, right, and then closed above and then started going back up higher. And then maybe let's say we get a candlestick that comes back down and then we start to see the candlesticks go back up again. This is, now showing that it's back as support. Okay. But being that we were closing below this level here, this is showing you that it's resistance now. Okay. So now you have your scan, okay, showing you guys potential stocks to trade, and you know the setup to look for, right? You know that you want to see old support become new resistance, and then you want to enter your position. And again, you want to take profit at your specific goals, whether that's a 1%, remember, when you're day trading, eventually these gains will start to compound, right? So if you're trading with $1,000, $100, $10,000, and you're able to compound those 1% gains, then that's when you're going to start seeing really impressive gains in the market is over time, right? And the main thing you want to do is build consistency, right? You don't want to, come in and be aiming for 5, 10, 20% necessarily every single trade, because you may not be able to make consistent profits and do that consistently. Right, that's the theme, is that of this whole video is basically this is a way for you to consistently come in each day in the market using one simple strategy. And if this strategy works for you, then that can be what gives you what's called an edge. All right, everyone needs an edge in the market, and this is maybe perhaps one way that you guys can help find your edge. Now, if you enjoyed this video, I highly recommend signing up for my completely free newsletter. It's called Investment Intelligence. There's a link in the description and comment section down below. It's a really great way to support the channel while also getting yourself some free, valuable investment intelligence. If you guys are fans of free, valuable content, you're definitely going to enjoy this. And I also give out free trade ideas in this newsletter, every single week as well. It's a great way to support the channel, support me, while also, gathering and learning more about the markets and expanding your knowledge base. Okay, because to be successful, you need to have what's known as a high teachability index, and you need to have a high willingness to learn. And if you have some of those things, then you're definitely going to enjoy this newsletter.